easier to let Kawhi take the hit than to paint him as the liability, than to admit that the organization, this wealthy and this powerful organization, is cutting corners. It really pisses me off. To me, that's the real story. So it's not just about Kawhi's being dragged or how the team might not want to move forward with him, but the fact that the league is shifting blame just to save face. Welcome to the No Bull Podcast. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe. We're heading into our final segment, which is the LA Clippers. That is why I had Kawhi Leonard on the thumbnail, because yes, we are talking about the Clippers and their recent scandal, but not just the scandal, what has come after. So, how this is damaging their brand, how it's damaging the league, and also what could possibly happen on the court heading into this season. So let's get into the Clippers versus Kawhi Leonard mess, because the headlines are wild right now. I'll walk you back to what you already know. It's been in the media for a couple weeks, but reports saying that Clippers tried to funnel $28 million through a sponsorship deal with Aspiration, a company that is now bankrupt and tied to fraud charges. The claim is that it was a no-show job, basically money to keep Kawhi happy in LA, and keeping him playing. We all know he was pretty much on PTO the entire season. The Clippers and Ballmer deny it, but the optics are bad. And now you're hearing chatter that the Clippers are done building around Kawhi, that teammates want him off the roster, and that the franchise is moving on. An article in Newsweek dropped, by the way, and it's multiple articles that dropped, but I mostly read this Newsweek article and started gathering my thoughts from there. But there's whispers, players, execs, GMs, they want Kawhi gone, and not necessarily done with him entirely, but at this point, his injuries, his unavailability, and now the reputational issues make him more a risk than a reward. But here's what doesn't sit right with me, is the way this is being spun in the media from people like Stephen A, who are on people's payrolls, because it feels like Kawhi's getting thrown under the bus. He's become the scapegoat, the face of the scandal, while the organization positions itself like, hey, we didn't know, we were just duped, poor us, this guy hasn't been producing, he's causing us trouble. Like, that's the vibe it's starting to feel like. And I think that's pretty convenient, because let's be real, if there was $28 million flowing through a deal, a little side deal, Kawhi wasn't the one drafting contracts or managing the corporate partnerships. He's a player. The power and the responsibility for the shady cap workarounds, that lives in the front office. And the NBA held an investigation, but I think they're trying to cover up Adam Silver and them. They being slimy, because I don't think it's just the Clippers. Things are starting to get exposed, because I also seen rumors with Mark Cuban and him for the Dallas Mavericks paying players under the table as well. I think Dwight Powell was mentioned as one of those players getting paid under the table. So here's why all this is damaging, because obviously the NBA thrives on its stars. And Kawhi has been the star for a long time, right? With this new mess in the media and him getting dragged in the media even further, it doesn't just stain Kawhi, it stains the culture of the NBA. If this has been happening and this team got exposed, now this team's getting exposed, eventually the NBA is going to have to take some ownership, or we're going to see how they skate around their lack of integrity. It really pisses me off, I'm not going to lie. I had a conversation with someone before and they said, well, we want to see the men get paid. Great. But do we have to do it from lack of integrity? Maybe I'm a little sensitive to the fact that the WNBA is fighting so hard just to get paid, while the men get paid all millions of dollars, and that still isn't enough for them, that we have to lack integrity and do workarounds to cap. That's shady. Why aren't we playing fair? And why are we throwing Kawhi under the bus to take the fall? I'll say this. The Clippers and the media are more focused on protecting the franchise image and the NBA. The NBA is lumped in with all this than telling the full story. It's easier to let Kawhi take the hit than to paint him as the liability, than to admit that the organization, this wealthy and this powerful organization, is cutting corners. It really pisses me off. To me, that's the real story. So it's not just about Kawhi's being dragged or how the team might not want to move forward with him, but the fact that the league is shifting blame just to save face. So the biggest question for me is, will the NBA address the systematic issue, or will they let the superstar carry the weight of the scandal that was never his alone? What's my lower Thursday? Is Kawhi's legacy being sacrificed to save face? What do y'all think?